And when we're talking about this multi-channel, another interesting point that was raised by some of our, also in internal meetings that we have, is what are we going to do in 2016? Are we going to continue investing in events? This is an event, by the way. Are we going to continue to invest? We're a digital company. We're investing a lot in events. Yeah, we should stop that. I know. It's all inbound, right? Inbound is like the answer for everything. It's so cool. We don't pay for leads. They just come in, right? Are we going to continue investing in events? What about advertisement? There are so many cool products and technologies that enable you to get to a specific person that visited your specific page, remarketing and retargeting. What are we going to do with PR? We have so many PR people. What are we going to do with the PR people, right? So what is your take? And it's very important to remember, don't forget, we have people here for 3 different organizations that come from completely different angles, okay? So the insights are very interesting. So let's start again with Datorama.
So I would say it's a trial and error. There is no absolute answer on that. It's different between company and company. I would say that first, everything is measurable. You have to measure everything. That's one take on that. Second, you have to compare between the channels, and you have to be very. You have to run from siloed measurements. You have to create your omni-channel, cross-channel analytics in order to find out which is the most valuable, relevant channel for you, for your company, in this specific industry, for this specific product. And point number 3 would be that the measurements shouldn't be only about absolute numbers, like number of leads, number of sales qualified leads. The measurement should be more advanced: return on investment, customer acquisition cost, the effect of a specific channel on the length of the life of the sales cycle, the effect of a specific channel on the average deal size, etc., etc. Once you have all of these measurements in place, you can come up with an intelligent decision about your budget for next year. Yeah, this is my take on that.
And seriously, how do you measure? I just want to, so it will be recorded. How do you measure the impact of a specific channel on the length of a sales cycle? And just I want to note 2 points. Datorama's product is usually sold in a relatively short sales cycle compared to telecom, first of all. So the sales cycle is 9 to 18 months, right? Plus minus. Depends on the size of the product. Some of our clients are selling heavy-duty back-end system. It might be even longer. And IBM have like a very wide, like IBM have everything. You know? So it's not a good example. Between 1 minute to 5 years. So how can you actually measure? How do you implement your SaaS product, which is also a specific type of product that is being sold? How do you measure? SaaS is the most advanced monitored channel. Let's put it this way. SaaS is like the best thing that a data-driven marketer can live in, because you have the full funnel online, or most of it online. How do you really measure the impact of a PR that was sent from the US on the sales cycle that was done by inside sales in Tel Aviv, for example?
I think that once you have a way to combine sales data and marketing data, it's there. So it's not really advanced thing to do. Once you have a measurement system for every lead that comes, you know the data on every lead, and you take it to your CRM. If this is the situation you're creating, if you're creating the relevant infrastructure, using CRM like Salesforce, using marketing automation tools like Marketo, Pardot, HubSpot, whatsoever, using BI tool, marketing intelligence tool, using intelligent tagging system for your leads, the data is there. So the slicing and dicing on this data is not so complicated once you lay the right infrastructure.
Okay.
I would like to share with you some of the experience we had with IBM regarding digital and events. In the last years, the direction from the worldwide was go to digital, less events, do more, let's say, be more on the web. And actually, I got like 100 leads every day from the worldwide, from the digital campaign they were doing here in Israel. And then I needed to qualify them. I was thinking even to change some of my operational model and inside sales in order to analyze the leads. But at the end, they were not qualified enough. I mean, from those 100, maybe one opportunity. So now the direction is a little bit changing to the other side, which they are saying to us, do more events. They are now wants to be sure that, and I think it's also related to the size of the company. When you want to do a move in 400,000 people with thousands of marketeers, you have always to go to the extremes. But what's we actually discovered is that events are still needed, because the face-to-face are still needed, especially when you need to sell or to promote a very complex offerings. So it really depends on the offerings, and I think you mentioned it. If I would like to promote or to sell a software, which is our cloud services, or Watson Analytics, which can take your marketing data and do analytics on it, okay, all the funnel could be on the digital, no face-to-face, no event. It's, as you were saying, 2-minute sell, and with credit card, the client buys. But if we want to sell like business transformation, digital transformation, global enterprise transformation, then it's really must to have workshop, face-to-face, events, demoing, proof of concept, whatever. So it really depends on the offerings. And with B2B, events are still needed.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think that marketing must be a mix. It can never be one thing. So if you try to decide between digital and non-digital, it's the wrong question that you're asking yourself. What you gotta do is think of how our non-digital activities support the digital ones and vice versa. So what we see today is that when we start generating leads and then nurturing them over time, and they become qualified and then they become opportunities, the place where things really advance is in the event. So then we take those MQLs, we take those qualified leads, and we push to meet them at the events, and they come. And that's where we manage to try and close the deals or progress with them, do pilots, whatever. In the past, is there an echo? Thanks. In the past 1.5 years, I've been doing that consistently with our leads. So I can tell you that in 4 out of the 8 events that we've had, the big events that we've had, and we made sure to have those good opportunities or qualified leads there, there was always a progress with them towards signing a deal or signing a pilot or a proof of concept or something right after those events. It never happens at the events, but it's a major step towards that. So for me, an event is a great ground for continuing to nurture the relationship, plus building that credibility. So it's a must. You cannot skip that.
One of the things that we start doing internally is we start to look at the amount of touch points that we have with our potential clients, and it's also where everything we do internally we also do for our clients. Okay, so we start to see that there is a kind of a halo effect to an event. So before the event, for example, a lot of people, there are less people here in the room than people that actually got the email. But we usually get all those responses, hey, I can't attend, but let's have a chat about XYZ, you know? Yeah. After the event, there's also, I'm really sorry I couldn't come, but we have something concrete. So there's this kind of a halo effect around events. With PRs, things are a bit different. And we saw it also with some of our clients. It seems like each and every channel hits, generally speaking, hits a different type of audience. So
different type of time frame need in a time frame.
Yes, and a different
person, but
yeah, and the same person in the sales cycle, exactly. And that's why it's clear that successful companies, successful marketers have to look at an integrated plan. The problem is, and that's something that none of you discussed, I'm just wondering now, what is this Guinness here? But the problem here, that's for yourself. So please, after the panel, the problem is it's very, very tough to get a coherent, integrated marketing plan in place and do all the crazy stuff that you're talking about, which is measurement, tracking, and so on. You have something to add?
I just want to say that I think the question, and it reflects what you all said basically, is it the quantity or the quality? Okay, because at an event you may get a huge quantity, but the question is, how do you qualify what are the really good what are the really good leads in any touch point that you had? And there are some parts of your marketing, like the PR and even the analyst part of it, that it's very hard to quantify what it did to your sale. So, I think that's the mix that you guys all have to deal with, and I think that's why marketing is not really a science. We have to check these things all the time and see what works and what doesn't work, and be ready to mix it up and not stick to a plan all year round, because it doesn't last all year round, probably.
Well, this is the thing I really like about panels, because it sounds like sometimes panels live in their own world. It's like, yes, we all need to be what's called agile marketers. We need to measure and then decide. The problem is that all of us have managers. All of us have purchasing departments. All of us have budgets that we need to show what we're going to do with it. Okay, some of the companies that we know work on a quarterly budget. Sounds like hell, but they do that. Some of the companies that we know work on an annual budget. It's a different kind of hell. It's still hell. Okay, but the agile element of let's see what works and then decide. It's a cultural challenge. It's not a technology challenge. It's a cultural challenge. I can tell also from our experience when we're working with some of our clients, we come and say, okay, so what's going to be your next 12 months plan? So we don't know. I can tell what we're going to do in the first month. I can tell what we're going to do. This is the type of results that could happen, and this is the kind of decisions we're going to make. And in 3 months from now, we're going to talk again. And for some, it's like a clash of cultures. This is not something that many companies can cope with. So I agree with you. Let's do everything and see how it works and decide. It's awesome, but it's not that simple. For many of the people that will see this video, it's not that simple to push this kind of process within the organization.
Can I share some numbers?
Yes, share numbers. We love numbers.
So for this panel, I looked at my numbers for 2015 so far, in terms of how many leads we've generated from the different sources. And we saw that from events or outbound activities, we've generated about 500 leads. And from all other activities, which are non-outbound, non-physical, digital, including anything that came to our websites, anything that came through social, email marketing, etc., we got about 800 leads. So there are more leads coming from digital, and if you think that the 500 that came through events and offline are just offline, it's wrong, because even in the events, a lot of people came because they saw the campaigns we did in digital. So they came, but it's thanks to digital. So you can see that the value for money on digital leads is much higher than it is on physical events. They're much more expensive, the physical leads, let's call them that way. And still, it's worth investing there. And we are investing a lot more money in events than we are in non-events marketing budget, because we believe that is what building the brand and the reputation, the perception, etc. So,
just to give context to the points that you've raised, we're talking here about a company selling to telecom operators in general. It's a very specific market. These numbers are very impressive, I have to admit. And this is a very specific market with a very specific sales cycle, which means that going back to Omri's point, you need to look, or we recommend to look at the same metrics on your own data and then make this kind of decision. It's not set in stone.